right, it is Fight Week in Atlanta, UFC 236, and I am next to Kelvin Gastelum, who of course takes on Israel Adesanya for the interim championship. And Kelvin, I know you've been doing a lot of interviews. It is Fight Week. That's sort of what Fight Week is all about, huh?
Yeah,
at least part of it, big part of it.
Yes, yeah, it is.
So we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna take you down memory lane and show you some old footage. Let you react to it. Tell us some stories about it, huh?
Sure.
All right, let's start.
Oh man, this was when I was 21, dude, barely 21 at this point. You know,
babyface Kelvin.
Reading my little Bible there. And
after the 9 to 5 shift, go straight to the gym.
Man, 21 years old. My life was completely different back then.
That's pretty much my lifestyle.
Did you have a feeling that this was all going to turn into what you wanted it, or was it just like, man, I hope, but I don't know, I could be bail bondsman tomorrow?
Right, yeah. I mean, you always hope for these things to happen, and you visualize these things happening, and I did at that time.
My sister,
and
obviously,
man, I'm speechless just looking at all this old footage.
I want to do this for us.
It's funny.
And, you know, my girlfriend also.
Oh shoot, my ex-girlfriend.
Didn't work out with her, huh?
No, it did not.
Which fight is this? Do you recognize it immediately?
This is Keto Andrews. This was the fight to get into the show. And
he's 21 years old, Kelvin.
Yeah, this was a tough fight, man. Keto Andrews was, I think, 10-1 on a 9-fight win streak, and was probably one of the favorites to win the show before he even got on the show.
Why do you think they paired him with you?
I don't know, but this was probably the hardest fight that I had on the show, was this fight against Keto. He was just fighting out of Team Alpha Male, 10-1 on a 9-fight win streak. I remember him real well.
I mean, we talk to you about pressure, you know, all the time, and now it's like you're fighting for a title. There's got to be a lot of pressure in that. But this, you're 21 years old. You're trying to get on The Ultimate Fighter. If you lose, you literally go home. You don't have a job.
Definitely.
What did that feel like?
It's something I didn't want to think about. You know, at that time I was 21 and very
purely off of conditioning.
Shoot, I don't know what to say.
A little bit harder. They got a couple of scrambles, and it was the guy in the better
just
shape
very
to
naive, I guess, at the time. You know, the pressure at that time was different than how I feel pressure now.
How did you deal with it back then? Like, how did you sleep in Vegas the night before this?
It was a very close fight. Ultimately, I went to a judge's decision.
You know what? At that time, I was still pretty confident, man. I was confident then as I am now. But, you know, obviously the nerves are more, the pressure's more, just because I was so young. And this was a dream that I had. I didn't even, so embarrassed to cry in front of the camera, man.
All right, guys,
but yeah, that meant a lot to me, man. As you can see, I was crying, you know. That was a big deal for me.
Whoever wins the coin toss gets to pick whether they want.
And this was crazy, because I mean, I was looking at all these studs that are right next to me, and I'm like, man, how am I even going to compete with any of these guys? These guys have way more experience, come from awesome backgrounds, black belt in this, national champion in this, you know, and I'm just 21 years old, barely, and 5 fights. Very green in every aspect.
I will take Kevin Casey. Mr. Adam, welcome to the team. Thank you.
Very green in every aspect. Can't believe you're still available, you said. That's cool.
Yeah, last pick, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big Chael Sonnen fan before that. Before I even went on, and I was just looking at him, like making eye contact, like pick me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Did it matter to you that you were the last pick? You're like, hey, I'm here. Like that's all I wanted.
No, it didn't matter. I knew that I probably would have gotten picked last just because of my showing to get into the house. It wasn't the most, you know, such a close fight, such a grinding fight. I didn't impress anybody. You know?
Why do you think that people have underestimated you throughout your MMA career?
Just the same reason I got picked last. Just like I don't do anything flashy. I don't do anything very impressive. I just stick to the basics, and just my main thing is I think I just know how to win.
If you hadn't won that fight to get in the house, you think we'd still be sitting here?
I think so. I wouldn't have quit just then and there. You know, I knew that eventually I would end up fighting in the UFC. I just didn't know I'd be fighting at 21 years old. But I did it.
Yeah, and when you decided that you wanted to apply for the show, as a 20-year-old. I mean, how did it even get on your radar, and why did you think that you could even make it with just the low amount of fights that you had?
Well, I remember trying to apply even at 17 years old, and I remember, you know, you got to have at least three pro fights. You got to be at least 21, and so I knew the requirements at that time. And then one day I was just sitting in the bail bonds office. I was 5-0 at the time, 20 years old, and then I just remember, like, hey, I might be able to apply for this Ultimate Fighter now that I have all the requirements, except being 21 years old. So I went ahead and emailed Joe Silva, and you know, told him, look, I'm 20 years old. My birthday's on October 24th. What is the cutoff date for the tryouts? And they just happened to say it's on your birthday. So
they got back to you.
So come on out and try out. Yeah.
Huh. What was the experience like on The Ultimate Fighter? You hear different stories. You know, people go
my experience was
people
great.
go a little stir crazy over there.
Oh yeah. Well, at the same like I said, I was very naive. So at that time, I was just very much to myself and very observant of everybody else. And so I think that's what kept me pretty focused. You know what I mean? I noticed that people that lose the focus, they just start going crazy. You know, and that house just, you know, it's a big mansion, but it gets pretty small pretty quick. Yeah. And you know, people start going crazy. There's no internet, there's no phone, there's no TV, there's no books. So I just noticed that some people were going crazy while I was just kind of keeping to myself and observing everybody else.
You said that when you got in the house and you were looking around at everybody, you're like, how am I going to compete with these guys? When did that change for you? That not even just in the house, but also in the UFC, where you're like, no, I'm one of the best in the world. Maybe I am the best in the world. Like, when did that?
Well, winning the Ultimate Fighter definitely gave me the confidence to know, like, hey, I'm pretty good at this fighting thing, and it gave me real confidence to continue and say, like, okay, I'm going to make a real run at this.
Why? I asked you earlier why people underestimate you. Why have you always proved them wrong? What do you think it is about you that has led you, that has enabled you to get here?
I'm just stubborn and stupid. I just don't know how to quit. I'm just too dumb to quit, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate the time, man, and we are looking forward to the fight. Israel Adesanya. I think Kelvin is the underdog, as usual, but he's proved us wrong many times, so we'll see you on Saturday.